Welcome back to my channel on the Lewis Basketball Network with another one. So this one is about Isaiah Thomas and his comments that he made on the Stephen A. Smith show about Russell Westbrook and why, in his opinion, he is not a championship player. Let us enjoy and hear his comments. This is an NBA all-time great, the OG Isaiah Thomas saying it. So let's listen to what he has to say, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it.
You were on Stephen A.'s radio show and had this to say about one Russell Westbrook. Take a listen.
Take a listen.
When we look at Westbrook, we love his talent. We love the way he competes. But his maturity level and maturation level as a leader and also as a teammate and as a player has definitely been stifled. Westbrook has really stayed stuck on the numbers and not necessarily transcended to the intelligence part of the game, where you need to really be the quarterback and the leader out on the floor to make your team win.
You see what he just said right there, ladies and gentlemen? This is exactly what I'm talking about. What I said about Russell Westbrook is he has the talent. The problem is he does not understand the game. Isaiah Thomas is reiterating what I've said about Russell Westbrook. Nobody's saying that Russell is not great. We're telling you that he's not a championship player because of his inability to understand the game. It's great that you're averaging triple doubles, man. It's an amazing accomplishment. But what does it mean if you're not leading your team to win? Especially doing the necessary plays that it takes to win that don't show up on the stat sheet. Like being ball-centric and taking control of the offense. Isaiah Thomas is speaking the truth. As showing maturity, Russell still shows me he's about to be 31 years old and he finished his 11th season. People are saying, well, he's proven that he could lead the league in assists. But again, this is ball-centric assists. I remember Russell Westbrook was complaining to the media saying, I play hard at 110%. I don't want to hear that because I know you play at 110%. The problem is you play too hard. You don't play smart. That's been your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is a coach not being able to hold you accountable for the mistakes that you make, or an organization catering to you. This is not all Russell Westbrook's fault, but because I'm telling you exactly all of these factors. But at the same time, this is why Russell has not won in his career. And listen to what Isaiah Thomas says right here. This is super key in terms of when he talks about Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and some other guy who used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He now is the part of the Houston Floppers, a proud member of the Houston Floppers, and you'll find out his name shortly.
All right, I find it fitting that later that night, Damian Lillard clinched the series with a 37-foot buzzer beater to eliminate the Thunder. Let me ask you this. Is Westbrook a championship player?
Well, clearly he's not because he hasn't won one yet. And
okay, that's one reason. But keep going, Isaiah.
And I would put he and Harden in the same category. I mean, these are MVPs of our league and have played at MVP level. But when both of them have gotten to the playoffs and it's time to win basketball games and advance to the next level and keep advancing, they haven't done that. And
let them gunshots run for Isaiah Thomas, man. Just spoke the truth. Two great players that have proven in the postseason they have not been able to get it done. Westbrook is more of his decision-making. James Harden is more of, they both kind of dominate the ball. And and you're realizing it, man. Kevin Durant went to a champion. Okay, he went with Steph Curry and he went with Klay Thompson, obviously, and he's a champion. But remember, your greatness is measured by not only on your individual accolades and your ability to, individually, bring up your level of play, but how do you make the others around you better, and how do you, end up winning? Because winning matters in this league, and that's how you're going to be measured in terms of when you want to be in the pantheon of greatness. How many times have you won in the playoffs, in the postseason? Regular season, you make your name. Playoffs is when you make your fame. Like, it's just that's always been the motto. Unless if I got it wrong and I switch it around, but I think that's the way it goes. But if I have it wrong, one of you guys can correct me. But Isaiah Thomas just told the truth right there, man.
in order to be champions in this league, Durant left OKC
and he went to Golden State, and now he's a champion.
So the reason that Oklahoma City hasn't won, let's break this down. And I've said this many times. Number one, James Harden was not signed by the Thunder. Sam Presti and the organization let him go to Houston when Kevin Durant asked Sam Presti to try to keep him. Let's see. We know what happened in the 2016 Western Conference Finals with KD and Kevin Durant, both struggling, both really costing that series against Golden State. And I'm going to say it again, both players are at fault for that. And Kevin Durant ends up leaving because the organization decided they thought that Russell could be that alpha. And I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook was in the ear of the organization saying that I could lead this team to a championship and not Kevin Durant. Because it was looking like if Kevin Durant was really considering trying to leave and possibly going to go to Golden State, which he ended up doing. And like I said, with Kevin Durant, it wasn't just the fact that Russell Westbrook was not easy to play with in terms of his play style, but the organization catered to him. And it was more so also for the organization. And that's why I'm saying that Russ is just making Kevin Durant's point even bigger. And KD's looking like a much better player. And it's the same thing with James Harden. If James Harden doesn't win, and we saw what's happened the last 3 years. Now, we could talk about injuries because, look, with Russ's knee injury, he was not the same player. Like, you could see that he's lost explosion, in his burst step. He wasn't even dunking the ball as much. And even then, guys, and Paul George with the shoulder injury. So both guys were hurt. But what I'm telling you is that the reason ultimately they lost, they tried to engage in a personal battle instead of trying to beat the Portland Trailblazers. So just like the Houston Rockets are focused on the referees, both Westbrook and Paul George are not focusing on what they're supposed to be focusing on, paying attention to detail and helping the Thunder win. Remember, they were the favorites after the Nurkic injury in Portland. And he left and he got injured with the leg injury. And that's what I'm saying. Instead, they engage in trash talk. Paul George decides to dunk the ball at the end of game 3. What did you expect was going to happen? Dennis Schroeder taunting with the wave, and how ironic karma happens in Damian Lillard in game 5 when he knocks down that shot. 37-foot bomb, and sends OKC home and said, bye-bye, OKC, you next season. So basically, when you say that, you engage in a war of words. Damian Lillard said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Sun Tzu your ass. That's what he did. And they humbled Russell Westbrook. And then Russell Westbrook talks to the media and says, you guys are, criticizing me for 2 to 3 games, in terms of, I led the league in assists, man. I always play hard 110%. Russell Westbrook, you're being a damn fool right now. We're not talking about 2 to 3 games. We're talking about what you've done in the last 3 postseasons. And in the last 3 postseasons, you've had 3 consecutive first-round exits. And it's due to the poor decision-making and your inability to understand, again, I'm going to say it again, your inability to understand the game and making poor decisions with that low basketball IQ. It's not just injuries. See, when you have a high IQ, even if you're injured, you're always going to try to make right plays and try to play, again, be tactical. Russell Westbrook, he still is immature and he hasn't learned how to be tactical 11 years into his career. He needs a coach that is going to tap into him mentally. And you actually need a player that's actually going to get on him too, because Paul George is not like the type that's going to get into anybody. Paul George is a follower. And I'm going to say it again, Paul George is a complimentary all-star. He is not a superstar. He looked like one earlier in the season up until the shoulder injury. But once again in the playoffs, even if he shot well, just look at his antics and the way he acted. It just tells me Paul George is not a superstar. I'm telling you. People could get mad at me, whatever, and say I'm a hater. He's a great defender and possibly could win Defensive Player of the Year. And he was looking like an MVP candidate, and I had him voted if he was able to sustain the play up until the injury. But when you engage in what you did in the first round, thinking that you was going to win this series with all talk instead of showing all bark, no bite, it bit you in the ass. And that's why I'm saying that these two were humbled.
Steph Curry's a champion. Klay Thompson is a champion.
They play on the same team, Isaiah.
They all play on the same team except for LeBron.
But it don't matter. At the end of the day, you have to become a champion.
That's
and
right.
If you carry the MVP banner in this league, you got to become a champion. We would not be arguing about Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, being the greatest players ever if they didn't have championship rings.
And that is how you were measured. Isaiah Thomas, thank you once again, sir. We wouldn't be talking about Michael Jordan and Kareem like that had they not won championships. They could win all the MVPs they won. How many championships did you win? If you don't add that to your resume, it means you weren't even in the best player in the best moments in the playoffs, which would mean we would be looking at Michael Jordan different and Kareem differently. That list would probably look a lot different if those guys didn't win championships or as many as some of the other contemporaries on the all-time greatest list did.
And so Kevin Durant kind of reverse engineered it because he was like, oh, me on that team, we can't not win a championship.
So this is what I'm called timeout on, because Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Bill Walton.
You know what?
Ooh. So in other words, Isaiah is trying to say that historically, Larry Bird played with great players. Magic Johnson played with great players. And this is what you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen. The era that we're in, Kevin Durant was a free agent. Those two teams that he's talking about, they were built. So there was no free agency. There was no free agency didn't start until 1989. So it's a different time. But what Isaiah is trying to tell you is that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird played with great players, and that's how they won. I mean, they had an integral part in, helping them lead them to winning championships. But, they played with great players, man. And what they did was, again, they implemented the team concept, and that, that helped them win ultimately. They never try to get into the way of one another. Like, they just put their egos aside and realize who is the best on the team and how everybody can contribute, to be a champion. And, and that's how you really truly measure your greatness, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why when Max Kellerman and these cats are talking about how Kevin Durant joined the 73-9 team, and Isaiah's actually going to talk about this, and I'm going to touch up on it. I've already done it. Like I said, if you guys haven't watched, make sure to watch the 2016 NBA Finals. They did that breakdown. I will, make sure to take a look at it, check it out, and, see what you can ascertain or, what did you get out of the video that, I covered. So let us continue, sir.
That's not
Michael
fair.
Jordan.
Isaiah, you know why that's not fair?
All them have.
You know what?
Now, look, Isaiah's cutting him off because now Max is trying to say it's not fair because he joined the 73-9 team. See? How many players did the Golden State Warriors lose to get Kevin Durant? And I'm going to touch on a little bit once Isaiah talks here.
That's not fair.
Out of the top 50 players, all of them had 2 to 3
I'm not
players
arguing that.
on that
I'm not
team.
arguing that. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Warriors were already the Lakers or the Celtics, one of those loaded teams.
They wasn't.
That would be. Hold on.
Look at this mofo try to lie right now. The 73-9 Warriors, I'm going to say it again, lost 9 playoff games. Their bench, they led the league in the NBA in bench points. But none of those guys on that damn bench can create their own shot. They played terrible in the entire postseason, especially in the finals, despite outscoring the Cavaliers once again, 190-89. It was predicated off, again, Steph and Clay. That's what they continue to finally understand, man. Steph Curry was not himself. And Max Kellerman is trying to push this narrative as to why KD joined. And I said, look, I get it. You joined the team that beat you, but it was not the same team. It'd be different if they lost like about 1 or 2 players and then Kevin Durant joins. Then you have a more legitimate case. But all he did was he joined prime Steph Curry, prime Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And his superstardom put them over the top.
They won 73 games. They won a championship the year before.
They were 73-9.
Tell him, Isaiah.
And got beat.
Yes.
Game 7.
What? Time out. They got beat by
Hell no.
LeBron James down 3-1.
Yep.
So
Right.
they had a great regular season, but they lost.
They won the championship the year before.
Steph Curry.
See the narrative that he's trying to push? He's trying to say that they're this all-time great team, that they're the greatest team ever assembled, and LeBron James has fell for this narrative too because he loves when his networks always mention that. But look what Isaiah just said. He said that they lost owning a 3-1 lead. The Warriors set the entire calendar year for most wins in NBA history. But did they win a championship? No. And once again, the Warriors finished that year 88-18 with the 83 win percentage. The Chicago Bulls still own the NBA's best win percentage in a single calendar year with 87 because they went 87-13. Golden State played 6 more games. So then how do the Chicago Bulls have a better percentage? Because the Bulls went 15-3 in their postseason run, the 72-10 Bulls, while the Golden State Warriors went 15-9. And remember, the first round is a best of 7, so they should have won 16. It's like Ron Harper always says, 72-10 don't mean a thing without a ring. Well, 73-9 don't mean a thing without a damn ring. And they struggled They didn't look dominant. At least the Bulls looked more dominant in their postseason run.
And Klay Thompson and Durant, and Draymond Green.
And Iguodala back then.
And they had a great regular season. Okay, now, what stamped them is when Kevin Durant came. Because, hey, if they...
No, Mass, you can laugh it off all you want. Kevin Durant put them over the top. Those are facts. Those are facts. They became the 2017 Warriors, in my opinion, is the best championship team out of the 4 championships that they've won in this current, out of the 3 that they've won in this current time in the last 4 years. The 2017 Warriors are the best team out of the 2015, 2016, and 2018 championship teams. Well, 2016 they didn't win, but you get my point. That they're the best championship team of the championships that they've won and out of the finals appearances that they've made.
If they don't, if Durant doesn't join that team, it is safe to say that they don't beat Cleveland again. Hold on.
Thank you, because LeBron had the psychological edge over the Golden State Warriors. Because what did he say after Game 6 when LeBron had that back-to-back 41-point game? He went into the locker room and they played a tape on this on Undisputed FS1, Skip and Shannon, and said they are mentally broken. That's what he said. They're fucking mentally broken. That's what he said after Game 6. But that was with all the manipulation, with the suspension, with the Bogut injury, with Steph and Iggy not being 100%, all that. So Max would say, oh, but they won in Game 7 by 4 points. But they were still not the same team. They had a great regular season, but did they win? No. Out here trying to push narratives.
And Max, don't interrupt this point because this is not about you. You and I have gotten into this point. This is about me getting at Isaiah. Let's not forget to mention the stimulus package that the NBA gave the Cleveland Cavaliers that LeBron James Cleveland championship year.
Hey, did you hear that?
Because not only was Golden State up 3-1, they had won Game 4. The game that LeBron got into the tussle. Draymond Green got hurt. Got the stimulus package.
What's the stimulus package?
Easy. The stimulus package was the fight between the scuffle between LeBron and Draymond Green, and LeBron going to the media. Well, there's some things that you don't say to another man, and well, you know, the league isn't going to really look at it anyway, man, for what he said. So I don't expect the league to suspend Draymond. So they suspend him for Game 5. Andrew Bogut gets hurt during the game when he gets undercut by J.R. Smith. Steph and Iggy not at 100%. And Klay Thompson struggling.
And they suspended Draymond Green for Game 5. They suspended
So
him.
for those who keep saying that Draymond, well, he played 6 and 7, Andrew Bogut not being there for rim protection, Kyrie and LeBron had free roam to the basket. Maurice Spates can't guard LeBron. He's too slow to guard him. Nobody could guard him. Festus Ezeli, Maurice Spates, all those Warriors played horrible. Harrison Barnes shot the ball so poor in the last 4 games of that series. LeBron could just sag off, and Harrison Barnes couldn't even beat him from the outside. That's how much easier it was for the Cavaliers to come back. And the importance and the impact that Kyrie Irving had from games 3 to 7.
For Game 5, that was the same game Iguodala and Bogut got hurt. I mean, come on. Let's not forget that, Isaiah. Stop it, man.
Hey, come on, man.
Even in the park.
What is this, NFL Live? Come on, man. What is this, NFL Sunday? Oh, man.
Philadelphia, Detroit, or Chicago. You kick somebody there, you got to go. You got to
What?
go.
He didn't kick him.
Oh, but you failed to mention how LeBron stepped over him. You didn't mention that, Isaiah. See, look, you already were narrowed this too. There's a reason why Draymond did that. And I'm going to say this. Draymond should have been suspended in the Western Conference Finals for what? From kicking Steven Adams in the nuts. But if we're talking about the finals, LeBron initiated that whole thing. I'm not saying it was right for Draymond to hit him there, but let's face it, LeBron just sunned him by stepping over him. As a man, you can't take that. So there's a reason why Draymond reacted. It was the wrong thing to do to clip him there, but let's be honest, man. LeBron initiated that whole thing. So that's why I say, is LeBron as great as he is if he had to get Draymond Green suspended? Come on now.
He kicked Steven Adams there in the playoffs. He didn't kick LeBron James. LeBron knocked him to the floor. Come on, Z. Come on.
That's how it started.
It was the threat of kicking him there.
Listen, the whole NBA, that's true. The threat of it, that's legit. That's legit. Just to even think about it, you're right. But the NBA, even the league office still laughs at me about that. Because every time I see him, I say that damn stimulus package. Because in Game 5, they were supposed to go out in 5. There wasn't supposed to be a Game 6.
Thank you. They were supposed to go out in 5. because Cleveland was the more talented team, but Golden State was the more complete, together, gelled, more the team that had the better chemistry. They were the better team in terms of chemistry and how they played. So Cleveland really should have lost in 5 games. But like I said, the NBA gifted them a stimulus package, as Stephen A. Smith said. But I just mentioned the other factors that he didn't mention about the Bogut injury. So, so that's why. But that's what happened.
And you know it, Zeke. At least mention that.
Okay, I will mention. Okay,
Yeah, you mentioned it now.
The stimulus package.
All right, thank you.
But
Thank
Stephen
you.
A., you still up 3-1, baby.
I
You gotta
understand.
close that. You
But
gotta
remember,
close that.
Iguodala and
You gotta
Bogut
close
got
that.
hurt in Game 5.
You see, you got, I mean, Steph and Clay, let's face it, they didn't show up, but it's like so many factors contributed, and somehow they only lost by 4. So Steph and Clay, they did choke and they didn't play well. Nobody's saying that. Steph Curry didn't give any excuses, and he had that knee injury, that MCL. He was not the same player after he suffered that injury. I was wondering how he was going to be with the ankle injury, but then once he got that too, I was like, yeah, his performances just came and went. There was no consistency, man.
Bogut got hurt in Game 5.
I got hurt in Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Hey!
I didn't complain.
You got
just
hurt,
saying.
dropped 30-25 in the third quarter.
and we
But that
lost,
game,
And let me just say this, man. He had 43 in that 1988 NBA Finals. That was arguably the most unbelievable performance I've ever seen, keeping his team in the game on a bad ankle, and his ankle was severely, severely bad and swollen. For him to put on that performance like that, he was red hot, keeping the Pistons in that game. The Pistons should have won that series. There was a lot of phantom calls in that series too, man, going in the favor of the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers won the last legs. The Pistons were really the better team. But the Lakers ended up winning the series in 7 on James Worthy's 36, 13, and 10 in Game 7, Finals MVP.
Game 7, you couldn't go because you were hurt.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and Magic put on the ring, and that summer he was laughing at me talking about Zeke, my man. What's that? How you doing?
Because remember, Magic was not thinking that he was going to be facing Isaiah, and that's why he could troll him with another championship. So Isaiah came back the very next. It's so crazy. Isaiah Thomas didn't play in Game 7 due to the ankle injury. The Lakers win. Magic Johnson injures his hamstring in Game 2 of the '89 Finals. Plays Game 3 hurt, and then he had to sit out in Game 4, and the Detroit Pistons won. So, you know.
And I was like, man, get out my face. I don't want to hear that.
And that's what, in one part, Magic said it strained their relationship because he didn't think that was actually going to happen. So, remember, the players on the team said, well, he's going to foul him since they were such good friends. So, but anyway, you see, it's so crazy how we talked about Westbrook and then it all shifted all the way to about LeBron and the Warriors. But I just wanted to make those points. But Isaiah was speaking big facts. So once again, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Louis. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Isaiah Thomas correct in what he's saying is how Russell being an MVP player, but he's not a championship player? Let me know what you guys think. As always, bless up. One love. Peace. Thanks for watching. Bye.